Friend has spoken to me about being a surrogate and is angry I said no. What the frick?
Hey everyone, welcome back to Lives on Reddit. Don't forget to subscribe to be a for lifer.
Too long didn't read. Friend has asked me, a very child-free person, to be a surrogate for her. I said no. Friend is very angry. I'm a 37-year-old female. My husband is 39. We've been together for years. Very happy relationship. Very financially stable, and 3 years ago, I bought into all the stupid society pressure that whilst I don't feel maternal and never really wanted kids, if I felt pregnant, my mind would change, I'd become maternal, and life would be great. Oddly enough, this didn't happen. Was intimate once, became pregnant, and also had severe antenatal depression. I'm talking I've written my goodbye letters and planned how to do it depression. Never had any mental health issues before, never been on any antidepressants in my life, but even with them, they didn't help and I terminated at 12 weeks. I was an idiot. I shouldn't have believed my maternal instincts would kick in and I love being pregnant or love being a mom. It was literally the worst time of my life and I'm just grateful that I live in the UK, so an abortion was easy to access and I didn't feel judged most of the time by friends and family. Fast forward to now, friend Claire, who I met at work 8 years ago, got married 2 years ago and made it very clear she wanted children. Sadly, 2 years later, nothing has happened, and as she's a similar age, she was going to go through the NHS to check things were okay. Sadly, COVID has meant this has been pushed back. Claire and I weren't mega close. We speak 2 to 3 times a month via WhatsApp, usually meet up once every 2 months for a chat or coffee, etc. But she's always been a good friend and supportive, as I believe I was when her dog died suddenly, and when her mother was diagnosed with cancer. Thankfully, her mom survived and is doing well. We spoke on Friday night on the phone and I could tell something was up. I never ever mentioned anything to do with her not being pregnant, but she usually brings it up. And she did, saying that she was really upset that she had just gotten her period again, and she felt useless, and what's the point of life? I tried my best to listen and sympathize, but then the conversation took a really weird turn. It's such a shame we were born in the bodies we were born in. You can have children and don't want them. I can't have them and really want them. Yeah, I see what you're saying. To be honest, I'd kill for a figure like yours as opposed to my love handles. Trying to keep it light. Seriously, don't you think it's a shame that you're able to have children but don't want them? Not really. Thousands of women can have children but don't want them. It's a choice. It's a choice I don't have. I'm sorry you're hurting. I was speaking to James and talking about surrogacy. Well, that's certainly an avenue you could explore, along with adoption, perhaps. No, we wouldn't adopt. James wants his own child. Okay. I know you don't want children, but would you consider it? Consider surrogacy for you? Yeah, I mean, that way you don't have to actually look after the child, and James and I know you'll take amazing care of it while it's inside you. No, I won't ever get pregnant again. You know what happens. I can't cope with the hormones, I get really depressed and want to unalive myself. And let's be honest, pregnancy is revolting and can result in a lot of damage, even death. That's so dramatic. You might not feel like that again. Plus, there's always antidepressants. A lot of women don't have any issues and sail through pregnancy. And a lot of women have complications, prolapse, tear, have life-changing injuries. And as I said, I wanted to unalive myself last time. Why would I put myself through that again? I don't know. Maybe because I'm a friend and friends are supposed to help each other? There was another 10 to 15 minutes of conversation and it was just so awkward. I kept trying to steer the conversation away from the topic, but she kept bringing it back. And in the end, I said I had to go as my husband had cooked dinner, so we said goodbye, confirming our date to meet up in a couple of weeks' time. Both the same tier at the moment from a COVID perspective. Now she's posting passive-aggressive things on Facebook about knowing who her true friends are and fair weather friends, etc., probably aimed at me. I'm trying to be as understanding as possible as she's obviously hurting, but when I spoke to another friend, she got really angry on my behalf and started saying Claire was mad, crazy, etc. So I was wondering, would you be really angry if you were in a similar situation, or would you try and be understanding but still say no? Sadly, I think the friendship is over. Edit, thank you so much for your support. 9 hours after posting this, I guess I really am a bit too soft and should be more angry at her. As it stands, after more passive-aggressive BS on Facebook, which I can't be sure, but I am pretty convinced it's aimed at me, I defriended her and so far haven't heard anything from her, or anyone she knows. I'm really grateful for posters pointing out I'm not selfish and will update if Crazy Claire contacts me again. So she wants you to be so depressed that not even medication helps, be on the brink of unaliving yourself, and possibly tear up your body so they can have a kid. And it has to be a biological one because her husband, who will never experience the possible AG double hockey sticks that is pregnancy and childbirth, won't adopt. And you're the fair weather friend? Frick that crap. I'd be understanding at the first ask, but the longer she pushed it, the more ticked off I'd be. Her husband is a ding-dong. He's always been style over substance, posting on Facebook about this swanky restaurant they're in or the new car he's just bought. So I guess having a non-blood related child wouldn't cut it. Not that he should be able to adopt. He'd be a lousy father. I thought she'd be a really good mother, but I'm really upset that she's posting a lot of passive-aggressive stuff over Facebook about me, especially when I literally just said no without insulting her at all. I'd hate to think what he'd do if he wound up with a child with disabilities. Infertility can make people go a little nuts, so maybe she would make a good mother, but that's not an excuse to treat you like that. She'll probably always be passive-aggressive towards you because you're denying her her chance to be a mom, and if she gets a kid from a surrogate, she'll still have an attitude with you. Surrogate was a much better friend than you are, or look what I got, no thanks to you. Infertility does make people go nuts. I've seen so many people go through it. They all have the same feelings of being useless and not even able to do what females have been doing from the beginning of time. It's just so bizarre to me. I can't relate with their feelings at all. Sometimes I wonder if I'm broken in some way because I never understand women who moan about these things. Sure, it must be sad if you want a child and can't have one, but I would just adopt if I really wanted a child. People who refuse to consider adoption don't get any sympathy from me. There's a family in my town that fosters. They fostered like 5 or 6 kids in the time that I've known them. Kept them all, I think, too. They have a big farm. I don't know if they have kids of their own or not. They just have so many running around. They seem like good people. And the kids they raise seem pretty well adjusted. We need more families like that. I feel awkward asking for a bag of sugar. Some people have no freaking limits, especially in the view of the utter AG double hockey sticks you went through before. Her selfishness seems to outweigh your feelings, and I would really look into cutting her out of your life. Her passive-aggressive comments are pathetic. She didn't ask you for a favor. She asked you for a complete turn your life and well-being upside down. That's a good way of looking at it. I was expecting her to mention her infertility as she does bring it up a lot. However, was completely blindsided when she suggested I become a surrogate. I don't even know what I'd do as I haven't researched it. I know it would involve needles, wouldn't it? And I'm really phobic of them. You're right though. It would turn my life upside down, and also she didn't even mention my husband. Would he be happy for me to go through having a baby that wasn't his in my stomach? To be fair, he's so laid back and supportive, he probably would if that's what I really wanted. But yeah, it really would be life-changing, and I actually like my life, and my cat, and my husband, and my wine drinking, exactly as it is at the moment. The fact that she didn't even mention your husband means that she doesn't really care about you, just that you can have kids and that's all she wants. My best friend was told she couldn't have kids when we were in our teens. She always wanted to be a mom. Back then, before I realized I was completely child-free, I offered to be her surrogate. And even back then, her response was, if at the time you aren't single, you'll have to make sure your future significant other would be okay with it too. And that's when we were teenagers. Now in our late 20s, she actually managed to have a kid, now 3, despite doctors telling her she had less than a 10% chance. If someone asks you to be their surrogate and doesn't also mention your significant other, they see you as a baby-making machine, not a human being. I'd be livid. Just in case she forgot, you straight up reminded her that being pregnant the last time made you want to unalive yourself, and she still wants you to do it again?
Because she's your friend? No, she's not. Friends don't act like that. They also don't make outrageous requests and then get rude about how you aren't a true friend when you say no. Thanks. You know when you just doubt yourself and think, am I the odd one out? Am I the weird one? I was trying to be sympathetic, as according to a friend who had IVF, wanting a child and not being able to have one is all consuming. However, equally, I do feel like she's completely ignoring my history with hormones and pregnancy. Just do it for me. It doesn't matter if you feel really bad, as I'll be there to support you. It doesn't help when every single second of every single day you just want to go to sleep and never wake up as you feel so low.
Whoa. Don't leave. Subscribe.